Welcome to our deep dive into the enigmatic world of the Darknet. But before we plunge into the depths of this hidden world, it's essential to understand its origins and how it evolved over time. The Darknet wasn't born out of chaos or anarchy, as some might believe. Instead, it was the result of a well-thought-out initiative by the US military's research wing, DARPA. The goal was to create a network that could withstand external attacks and ensure secure communication during the Cold War. This network was ARPANET, the precursor to today's internet. With the evolution of technology and the internet, the idea of a hidden network started to take shape. This was the beginning of what we now know as the Darknet. It was initially intended to protect communication networks against surveillance, ensuring privacy and security for its users. The primary users were expected to be political dissidents, whistleblowers, and journalists working under oppressive regimes. However, with time, the Darknet has evolved and taken a different path. It has become a haven for all sorts of activities, both legal and illegal. It's a complex web of secrecy and anonymity where the users are masked and their actions are almost impossible to trace. But why was such a network needed in the first place? What led to its creation, and how did it evolve into what we know today? These are some of the questions that we will explore in our journey. So brace yourself as we step into the world of the Darknet, a hidden universe that exists parallel to our own. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the hidden world of the Darknet, its access points, and the secrets it holds in our next scene. Following the creation of the Darknet, developers and innovators worldwide began seeking ways to enhance and expand this hidden universe. One such significant development is the Invisible Internet Project, or I2P. I2P was launched in 2003 by a group of like-minded individuals who believed that the internet should be a place for secure and private communication. The project was a response to increasing surveillance and limitations on the open web. I2P was designed as a network layer that allows applications to send messages anonymously and securely. It uses end-to-end encryption to protect data, ensuring a high degree of privacy and confidentiality. Like Tor, I2P was created to facilitate anonymous and secure communication, but it operates with a different approach. While Tor is primarily focused on anonymous access to the open web, I2P is designed for anonymous networking within the network itself. It functions as an anonymous peer-to-peer distributed communication layer designed to run any traditional internet service, such as email, IRC chat, or web hosting. The project has grown significantly since its inception, boasting a robust community of users and developers committed to maintaining and improving the network. Despite its growth, the I2P network remains largely unknown to the general public, reinforcing its position as a hidden corner of the internet, much like the Darknet. The development and evolution of I2P is crucial to understanding the Darknet's multifaceted nature. It's not just a single entity, but a confluence of various technologies and networks, each with its own unique characteristics and purpose. The existence of such networks demonstrates the ongoing struggle for privacy and anonymity in the digital age, a struggle that shows no sign of abating. So now that we know about the inception of the Darknet and the birth of I2P, it's time to delve deeper into the hidden world of the Darknet and understand how to access it. Keep watching as we unravel the mysteries of the Darknet in the next scene. Script section. Scene script. Have you ever pondered over the obscured aspects of the internet, the portions that remain undetected by most? Much like an iceberg, a vast portion of the internet exists under the radar, invisible and unindexed by conventional search engines. This concealed part of the digital sphere is referred to as the Darknet. The Darknet is an intriguing yet often misinterpreted territory. Just like the metropolis that never sleeps, it is a sprawling hub of ceaseless activity, functioning non-stop, and can be accessed only through certain software, configurations, or express authorization. It's not merely another fragment of the internet, it's an entirely different universe, operating under its own set of regulations, hidden from the surveillance of regular web users. The internet, as we know it, is divided into different layers: the surface web, the deep web, and the Darknet. The surface web, which you and I regularly navigate, is like a brightly illuminated highway. It is visible and accessible to all. The deep web, on the other hand, is like a network of hidden tunnels. It's larger than the surface web, and contains all the data that search engines don't index. Then there's the Darknet, a part of the deep web that's intentionally hidden and accessible only through specific software like Tor or the Onion router. The Darknet was originally designed with a specific purpose in mind. It was developed by the US military's research wing, DARPA, to protect communication networks against surveillance, privacy, and security. Its primarily intended users were political dissidents, whistleblowers, and journalists working under oppressive regimes. Today, any internet user has the ability to access this hidden world using Tor that allows them to browse the Darknet while maintaining their anonymity. This makes their actions almost impossible to trace back. It's not just about being unindexed, it's about being unseen. The untraceability and obscurity that make the Darknet a sanctuary for some also make it a fertile ground for unauthorized activities. So the Darknet exists like a cloak of anonymity. But what transpires behind that cloak? You may be wondering, how does one enter this covert realm? This question is a valid one. The answer, on the other hand, is rather straightforward. Specialized software, such as the Onion router or Tor, and the Invisible Internet Project, also known as I2P, is required to access the Darknet. Let's start with Tor. Tor is a free software that aids anonymity by rerouting internet traffic through a comprehensive global volunteer network. Think of it as taking a roundabout route to your destination, making your digital footprints harder to trace. Now, let's delve deeper into I2P. While it's not as well known as Tor, I2P operates on a similar principle. I2P is touted as an anonymous network layer. It's essentially a network within the internet, thus providing a platform for peer-to-peer communication that is virtually to censorship. It places a high emphasis on privacy, offering robust privacy protections that set it apart. It is frequently used for secure file sharing and chatting, thereby adding an additional layer of security to these interactions. The mechanics of I2P is indeed fascinating. The system encrypts user traffic and transmits it via a network of approximately 55,000 computers, managed by volunteers situated globally. This process further reinforces the privacy and security of the communication happening within the I2P network. However, it's essential to stress that we're not endorsing anyone to venture onto the Darknet. We're merely providing this information for educational purposes. The Darknet, similar to a vast ocean, can be perilous if you're not well versed with its depths. It's not a playground and is not recommended for the faint-hearted. It's also worth noting that while Tor and I2P are gateways to the Darknet, they're not intrinsically malicious or illegal. The manner in which individuals choose to utilize these tools can sometimes fall into the realm of illegality. An apt comparison would be a hammer. It can be used to build a house, or it be used to break a window. Hence, let's remember that this information is purely for educational purposes, not an invitation to misuse these tools. It is through knowledge that we are empowered, and understanding the tools and operations behind the Darknet helps us keep pace in this rapidly evolving digital world. Now, equipped with the understanding needed to access the Darknet, it's time to discover what lies within. What secrets does the Darknet hold, you ask? Well, it's a Pandora's box, a mixed bag of the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. Let's delve deeper, shall we? The Darknet, in essence, is a realm of the internet that guarantees anonymity, and with this anonymity comes a plethora of both legal and illegal activities. On the brighter side, the Darknet serves as a platform for whistleblowing. It's a sanctuary for those who wish to expose corruption, misconduct, or any form of wrongdoing without the fear of retaliation. Remember the Panama Papers or the Snowden revelations? They all found their way to the public eye through the labyrinth of the Darknet. Furthermore, the Darknet fosters anonymous blogging. In countries where free speech is a luxury few can afford, citizens turn to the Darknet to voice their concerns, share their experiences, and even mobilize movements, all under the cloak of anonymity. However, the Darknet isn't all roses and sunshine. Far from it. The very features that make it a beacon of free speech also make it a breeding ground for illicit activities. A notorious example of this is the proliferation of black marketplaces. From illegal drugs to stolen credit card information, from unlicensed firearms to counterfeit money, if it's illegal, it's likely being sold on the Darknet. The Darknet is a veritable underworld where hackers offer their services. where cyberstalkers lurk, and where illicit content thrives. It's a place where the rules of the conventional world don't apply, making it a haven for those who wish to operate outside the law. So, the Darknet, much like a double-edged sword, offers both a platform for freedom of speech and a breeding ground for illicit activities. It's a world where the line between right and wrong becomes blurred, where the lawful and the lawless coexist in the shadows. The Darknet, thus, is a haven for both freedom of speech and illicit activities. But why should we consider the Darknet a dangerous place, you might wonder? Well, let's delve into that. The Darknet, while a fascinating realm of the internet, is also a hotbed of risks and potential dangers. One of the most glaring risks is exposure to illegal activities. The Darknet is a breeding ground for illicit transactions, ranging from the sale of drugs and firearms to human trafficking. It's a marketplace where almost anything can be bought or sold, with the veil of anonymity providing a false sense of security. This anonymity, however, can also make users more susceptible to hacking. With no rules or regulations, the Darknet is a playground for hackers who can exploit vulnerabilities to steal personal information, infect computers with malware, or even hijack entire systems. It's like walking through a minefield blindfolded. You never know when you might step on a trap. Moreover, the Darknet is home to some of the most disturbing content on the internet. Graphic violence, exploitation, and other forms of extreme content are commonplace. Stumbling upon such material can be deeply distressing, potentially causing psychological harm. It's a Pandora's box that, once opened, can never be closed. Furthermore, the Darknet's use of cryptocurrency, primarily Bitcoin for transactions, adds another layer of risk. The volatile nature of cryptocurrencies and their association with money laundering and other illegal activities make them a precarious form of currency. Lastly, the very nature of the Darknet, its secrecy, its inaccessibility, can be a danger in itself. It's easy to get lost in this digital labyrinth, and without the right knowledge or tools, it can be a challenge to navigate safely. Despite all this, it's important to remember that not all activity on the Darknet is nefarious. It also serves as a platform for whistleblowers, activists, and journalists who need to share sensitive information safely. But for the average internet user, the risks far outweigh the potential benefits. The Darknet, as you can see, is not for the faint of heart. How does the Darknet fuel cybercrime? This is a question that has been on many people's minds. The Darknet, with its cloak of anonymity, creates a fertile ground for cybercriminals to thrive. Let's delve a little deeper into this. The essence of the Darknet lies in its ability to provide anonymity. Users can surf the web and conduct transactions without revealing their identities or locations. This is a boon for those who value their privacy. However, like any tool, it can be misused. Cybercriminals exploit this very feature to carry out nefarious activities. Imagine an online marketplace not unlike the ones we use in our day-to-day lives. But instead of books and clothes, this marketplace deals in stolen data. Credit card information, social security numbers, bank account details, all available for the right price. The Darknet is rife with such illicit marketplaces, where stolen data is bought and sold like any other commodity. Then there are the hacking services. Need someone's system hacked? There's a service for that. Want to launch a distributed denial of service attack against a rival? You can hire someone to do that too. These services, often offered by skilled hackers, are easily accessible on the Darknet. And we can't forget about the illegal substances. The Darknet is infamous for being a hub for the sale of drugs, weapons, and other contraband. The anonymity it provides makes it difficult for law enforcement agencies to track and apprehend these criminals. The Darknet, in essence, is a breeding ground for cybercrime. Its anonymity shields cybercriminals, allowing them to operate with impunity. It is a place where data is the currency and lawlessness is the norm. However, it's important to remember that not everyone on the Darknet is a criminal. Many use it to protect their privacy and exercise their right to free speech. But the presence of those who misuse it for criminal activities cannot be ignored. Like a double-edged sword, the anonymity of the Darknet can serve both protectors and predators. It's a reminder that every tool, every technology can be used for good or ill. It's up to us to decide which path we choose. Is there a positive side to the Darknet? you may ask? Well, indeed there is. Despite its notorious reputation, the Darknet can also serve as a tool for maintaining privacy online and avoiding surveillance. In the digital age, privacy has become more than a luxury. It's a necessity. With our lives increasingly intertwined with the digital world, the amount of personal information we share on the internet is staggering. Our search queries, shopping habits, social interactions, and even locations are all being tracked and stored. This data is not only used by businesses for targeted advertising, but it can potentially fall into the wrong hands, leading to breaches of privacy and identity theft. Here's where the Darknet enters the picture. The Darknet can provide a haven for those seeking to preserve their privacy. It allows users to browse the internet anonymously, shielding their identities and activities from prying eyes. This anonymity is facilitated by encryption tools that scramble data, making it unreadable to anyone without the proper decryption keys. For instance, journalists working under repressive regimes use the Darknet to communicate securely and share sensitive information without fear of reprisal. Whistleblowers use it to leak confidential information in the public interest without revealing their identity. Similarly, individuals living under authoritarian governments use the Darknet to access impartial news sources, social media, and other websites that are otherwise censored or blocked. It serves as a lifeline, connecting them to the outside world and helping them exercise their fundamental right to information. However, it's important to remember that the same tools that protect privacy can also be exploited. The anonymity provided by the Darknet also shields criminals, allowing them to conduct illicit activities with little fear of detection. This is a stark reminder of the dual nature of technology and the ongoing challenge of balancing privacy with security. Thus, the Darknet is a complex entity, both a shield for privacy and a breeding ground for crime. It's a testament to the intricate web of the digital age, where the line between good and evil often blurs, reminding us of the need for vigilance, awareness, and responsible use. So, should you venture into the Darknet? That's the question we've been exploring. It's a hidden world, a labyrinth where every turn could lead you to a different corner of the internet. Some corners are harmless, while others are fraught with danger. We've discussed how the Darknet is accessed and the importance of understanding that this is not a playground. It's a place where the rules are different and where the shadows can hide things that aren't meant to be seen. Anonymity, while it can be a tool for privacy and freedom, is also a cloak for illicit activities. We've taken a peek at what's inside the Darknet, a place where anything and everything can be found. It's a marketplace, a library, a chat room, and so much more. Yet it's also a place where the illegal and immoral can thrive, hidden away from the prying eyes of the law. The Darknet is dangerous. It's a realm that harbors cybercrime, where hackers, identity thieves, and other digital predators lurk. It's a place where the unwary can easily fall prey, their personal information stolen, their lives disrupted. It's a world where the illegal trade of drugs, weapons, and even people can occur. We've seen how the Darknet is a hotbed for cybercrime, a place where the lawless and the ruthless can operate with impunity. It's a place where your computer can be infected with malware, where your personal data can be stolen, and where your identity can be compromised. We've also explored the relationship between the Darknet and privacy. While the Darknet can provide a haven for those seeking to protect their privacy and escape censorship, it can also be a place where privacy is violated in the most egregious ways. So, what does all this mean for you? The Darknet is not a place to be taken lightly. If you choose to venture into it, tread carefully, understand the risks, and arm yourself with knowledge. Be aware of the dangers and always prioritize your safety and the safety of others. Internet safety and ethical online behavior are not just important, they're essential. The digital world can be a wonderful place full of opportunities for learning, connection, and growth. But it can also be a dangerous place full of risks and threats. The Darknet is a part of that digital world. It's a place that embodies the duality of the internet, the potential for good and the potential for harm. Navigating the Darknet, like navigating the internet, requires caution, awareness, and responsibility. Remember, knowledge is power, but with great power comes great responsibility. Stay safe, stay informed, and tread the digital world with caution.